So I wanted to make a little video of what my like working process looks like in 2025 because it keeps evolving. It's a little bit different than it was last summer. I'm still talking to Claude a lot through the Claude AI interface. I'm running Claude desktop on the right now. I've got two Tmux panes, one with the thing running. Um, Right now, I'm talking to Claude about like a strategy plan for the studio, like exactly how I want to brand the studio. And we have a bunch of products and tools in the works that, you know, I'm trying to think about how to brand and how to launch in a really smart, intelligent way. So basically, I'm talking to the robot on the left, and then when it says something particularly smart and intelligent, I copy it over to my Obsidian note that is on the right. And I have a ton of different notes of different ideas I've had, and I like to just like record sort of the best outputs so that I can quickly refresh. I don't have to explain notes to you. Do you understand what notes are for? So yeah, this is what a lot of it looks like. It's just kind of like having a conversation, talking in one, talking the other, and then I have a couple of different screens set up. So on another screen, I'm also working on a news visualization project where we have a bunch of leaked Telegram chats. So I'm also in the background, that's what that Claude desktop interface is doing. I'm also in the background working on that. And then I'm also working on the studio website. So as I'm talking to the robot, sometimes we have ideas for new things that the studio website could use on it. And what I'll do is I'll actually have Claude write a little memo to Cursor and basically be like, hey, can you tell the Cursor dev team, what they need to work on? And it'll write a little dev brief, and then I'll just kind of go in and copy that directly. And I don't think we're at that stage yet. Okay, and then I sort of got a little bit distracted. We were talking about like having some visual branding. So I had this 302 written out idea, and I was like, let me just like get that out of my head. So I put a few Illustrator boards together. I don't love any of this, but at least it's like captured somewhere. And I could reuse this for our social assets, or it might inspire something down the line. But it came to me as I was in the middle of this conversation, so I wanted to just kind of like spend a minute or two sketching it out and save it, and then jump back into what I was thinking about. And that's basically I have a ton of different windows open here. I'm doing that in a bunch of different spaces where I'm jumping into the code, or I'm jumping into a conversation, or I'm jumping into our marketing plan. My mind really likes it when things are happening. I like stimulation. This actually reminds me a lot of playing like SimCity or Command and Conquer, or like a real-time strategy simulation game that's really well made. So like it's all the fun of like you're continuously making decisions, and it's like good or it's bad or it's working or not working. You throw a little tweet out maybe, and keep vibing, right? And okay, so this phrase vibe coding has been happening lately, and I've been doing whatever they're describing with that since last summer, and what I'm finding is that the last 10% is really difficult. So you can build the first 90% easily, and it's going to be fun and feel good, but you kind of get yourself into a situation. Oh, right, we found this doom scroller anonymous.com was available. That sounds like a cool idea. So it's me just like brainstorming with the robot, thinking of new different ideas. We're talking about like context alchemy. I give it some screenshots of the homepage that we made for Context Alchemy that kind of like shows the rough idea of what we're thinking for the project, so we can implement that. So yeah, like I'm giving the Claude chat on the left, all the context that I think it needs to like give me good answers and help me make a content plan. And then we jump back to another project I'm working on, which is like some visualization, and tell that cursor to keep working. And so there's like at least 4 or 5 projects ongoing that you're watching. Like add something to my to-do list, update a document. And I'm just jumping between them, right? So I got we talked for a while, and I was like, hey, can you take this whole conversation and then turn it into a run book for every time I make content so that I can remember the things that I need to do, which is like, okay, I want to focus on posting it to LinkedIn. I want to have a special page on the studio website where we capture all this content. And so I want to save these notes. And right, so like my personal notes go in Obsidian, but that like social run book, I might want to share with other folks in the studio. So I put that in Google Docs. I'm kind of just like orchestrating where the information lives a little bit more, jumping between projects. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm sure that a lot of people work like this, but I'm also sure that this looks very weird and strange to people. This is absolutely not how I worked 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like there's there's a robot on my screen almost every second of this, like I guess like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours of just working on ideas on a Saturday morning. So yeah, I finished it up. The robot had this concept of like, when making content, to split it on an axis of like viral potential versus appeal to decision makers, and that felt really smart to me. So I kind of made I already had that Illustrator window, so I made a little visual artifact of that. And yeah, this is a bunch of planning manifest, right? So I'm just pulling useful stuff out of this chat and turning it into things that I own and that I can reuse later. And that's Talking to the Robot in 2025. Thanks for hanging out.